The fall finales of the One Chicago franchise all focus on characters who consider themselves outsiders. Dr. Dean Archer, Steven Weber, in Chicago Med, Chief Dom Pascal, Dermot Mulrooney, and paramedic Lizzie Novak, Jocelyn Hudon, in Chicago Fire, and Officer Dante Torres, Benjamin Levi Aguilar, in Chicago PD all encounter a common issue when it comes to balancing personal dilemmas and their work. These characters are morally conflicted because they struggle to distinguish between their past struggles and current occupations. Dr. Archer has led the ED for the past few years after working in the Navy. Pascal is the new chief of Firehouse 51 after working as chief in a Miami firehouse, while Novak has floated around firehouses before joining 51. Torres works with the intelligence unit but has a criminal past. In their respective One Chicago finales, they are all forced to question whether they can belong and work with their respective units when they're outsiders who float around or hesitate to stick with a group for a long time. One Chicago's 3 fall finales all told stories about characters who are outsiders. These One Chicago characters had long journeys before working in Chicago. In the 3 One Chicago fall finales, this selection of characters are all seen trying to fit in with their respective crews after obstacles in their previous work. For instance, in Season 10, Episode 8 of Chicago Med, Archer considers resigning when someone else is made the sole leader of the ED. Archer doesn't adapt well to change and prefers to lead with his my way or the highway attitude at work. Pascal is similar to Archer because he has a tough, rugged, no-nonsense attitude, distinguishing Pascal from his predecessor Chief Bowden, Amon Walker, and the family environment at Firehouse 51. Novak has an upbeat personality in contrast to Archer and Pascal, but shares the conception of being different from her co-workers because she doesn't like to reveal everything about herself. Novak is generally open with her paramedic partner Violet, Hanako Greensmith, and co-workers. However, during Season 13, Episode 8 of Chicago Fire, Novak has an emotional reaction because of a previous family tragedy she hasn't talked about. Meanwhile, Torres also feels like an outsider because he hides his dark past with criminals and his relationship with Gloria Perez, Yora Martinez, so he can focus on being a good cop. Personal relationships play a role in shaping the work conflicts for all these characters. For Archer, missing his family is also a reason to resign from the ED. In Pascal's case, his wife Monica, Katie Strickland, constantly tells him that the dangers of his job in Chicago replicate his time as a firehouse chief in Miami, causing tension when Pascal hesitates to tell her everything about work. Torres' love affair with Perez nearly jeopardizes his job and the intelligence unit because of her continuous involvement with drug dealers. Each One Chicago show went about its outsider story differently. Each One Chicago outsider faces a different dilemma affecting their futures. Archer, Pascal, Lizzie, and Torres are all outsiders because their history and personal turmoil conflict with their work. However, each show offers a different perspective on this storyline. Archer is potentially ready to give up on working with the ED, while Pascal is still trying to make his new job work. Novak and Torres are skillful individuals who work well with others but sometimes struggle to separate personal tragedy and work. The future of these characters in One Chicago depends on how they intend to handle each of their dilemmas and whether they believe they can continue to work with their units.